What is up, guys? Sky FPV here, and today we're going to be looking at the MultiGP Championship Sport class track. So we're going to be going through the track and checking out the different lines and seeing, you know, all the different ways that you can take it, because there's actually quite a few different ways that you can take this track and approach some of the elements, and talk a little bit about kind of what it's like to prepare for a big race like this, especially because I know a lot of the sport class guys haven't been to a big race before. Most of them have, but not all of them. And it can be a little bit stressful when you're like, "Oh, am I ready? I don't know what to do." So I don't know. We're just going to kind of talk about that, hang out. We've got Imperious FPV on the Discord chat with us.
What's going on, everybody?
Yep, and we're just going to be hanging out, and it should be a good time. So let me see if we've got. Yep, so it looks like we are live.
Yep, looking good to me.
Cool. So the simulator we're going to be going with today is called Flow State. Full disclosure, I'm the guy who develops it, and it's open source. That's kind of the big thing. I want to make a simulator that anybody can contribute to. I really want it to be like the pilot's simulator, not just my simulator that I created and I own. So hopefully it can be anything that anybody wants it to be, but primarily the main trunk of the simulator is going to be focused on being a good practice tool for preparing for big races like the MultiGP Championship. So let's go ahead and we're actually going to exit out and show you guys. So if you jump on our Facebook page, and I will bring that up right now, you will see it's called the Flow State Drone Racing Simulator, and you'll be able to grab the track. We've got it posted there, and once you download that, just go ahead and open up your Flow State folder and drop it in the Maps folder, and then you'll be good to go. So that's how you get the map. For now, we're going to find a nicer way to download maps. In the future, it'll just be all inside of the game, more similar to like DRL or Velocidrone or something like that. But for now, this is how we're doing it. So let's go ahead and do a fly through of the course and just kind of talk about it a little bit, because it's a really interesting course. So we're going to take it real slow. We've got the start finish, and then a ladder gate, which technically you can turn this way also. You can turn either way through that gate. The only important thing is that you go this way through this gate, and that you go this way through this gate. And how you get there is up to you, as long as you don't travel through other gates in the interim. So then we're going to go through the dive gate and around and into the triple power loop. There we go. And then we're going to go through that. That's the biggest straightaway right there. And then we're going to turn through this gate. And again, we have another decision to make with which way we want to go. So we can turn left or right here. So I'm going to turn to the right. And there we go. So we can see our race line. Let's go ahead and clean it up by getting a cleaner run. So it'll replace that race line with this next lap's race line. And we'll go ahead and study that a little bit. This time, let's go this way just for fun. There we go. All right, so let's check out this race line. So you can see there's a lot of places that you can work to tighten things up, the power loop especially. And especially in these ladder sections, there's a lot of places to tighten things up. And then through this little gate slalom, that'll be a nice place where you want to keep it as straight as possible. And I think there's a line to be had through this dive gate even to make sure that you keep it real tight. So that should be good. So we're going to go ahead and try to kind of work on that. I don't know, have you flown this track much at all, Imperious?
I have not yet flown it, no.
It's really interesting.
Seen it flown.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some sport guys actually fly it.
Yeah. Nobody's posted DVR yet. Y'all are slacking.
Yeah, they're all out partying probably right now. Actually, I
Exactly.
think they're qualifying right now.
They were talking about it, yeah. What is it, like 9:30 right now in Florida?
Not sure. What time is it here?
7:30.
Yeah, it should be about 9 there. Perfect. Let's see if we can tighten that up a little. We got our ghost, who should help us out with figuring out what we can do. There we go. That's starting to look a little better. Now, if we can do this consistently, that'll be pretty good.
Yep, that run through looks pretty solid.
Nice. There we go. Let's go ahead and check out our ghost and see where we can improve there. So it's going to be this ghost right here. Doing okay, keeping tight on the power loop. Good amount of speed going into the straightaway. And not bad. It could be better on the last ladder section. And something that's nice here is this line is looking real smooth through the dive gate. I think that's about as good as that gets. If we could not come so far out to the right here, but still get that angle, I think that would be even better. But yeah, that's looking pretty good actually. And through the straightaway, so if you weren't aware, the amount of throttle that you have is going to dictate how red this line is. So we can see we've got low amounts of throttle here when we're high up, and we're kind of punching the throttle as we get low on these power loop sections. But right here, we'd like to get a little more confident. We don't want this to be so white. We want this to be red. So we really want to make sure that we can punch through, because this is a long drag strip. So if we're wasting time not being on the throttle there, it's probably 0.2 or 3 seconds. So yeah, let's go ahead and reset and see if we can improve that at all. All right. Oof. Try that one more time. Kind of hard with all of my excess race line everywhere. Oof, not my best power loop. High on the throttle here, and then keeping it tight here is going to be apparently pretty tough. Let's try that our second lap. Oh, we got hit by our ghost. Let's go ahead and reset there. And if anyone in the chat, I will make sure that I keep an eye on it from now on. But if anyone in the chat has some suggestions for ways that I can improve my line, I would love to hear them. Obviously, I can only do that to the best of my ability. Oof. Oh, dang. Well, I got a 20.5, so I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, I'd like to go check out that ghost and see what that looked like. Not too bad. You can see the skip off the ground there. I bet that could have been a 20 flat if I hadn't skipped off the ground. Very cool, very cool. All right, so actually, there's a super fun line that I saw KumoCraft taking. You probably know KumoCraft from some of his amazing Velocidrone tracks. He is the author of Quads of Valhalla, really fun track. But I noticed him taking a super fun line, and I want to point it out and see if that's a better line than what I'm doing. So as he comes through here, he continues one straight turn into the power loops. And it certainly reduces the amount of effort on the sticks. Like it's a very natural. Well, it's not necessarily natural to do, but once you do it the first time, it feels really nice. My concern, though, is that it might not be the straightest line. Whoopsie. So let's try it one more time here. Try and get some speed up so it'd be like a realistic run. And I'll be thinking about it ahead of time. It's not a bad line. I may just try to do it a couple times and just get used to it. There's another line I want to talk about also, which requires more stick input, but I think is theoretically faster. And that's towards the end of the track, so I'll point it out when we're coming up to it. The very last ladder that we do. Oh, come on now. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. You'll see it here. So that wasn't the quickest execution, and honestly, I think you have to have kind of high rates to pull it off. But it's a different line you can take, and it's always good to experiment with them, and sometimes it just comes down to what you're comfortable with. There we go. That was a slightly better execution of it. Got a little bit. Oh man, got mittered.
So
fun.
Tim,
what's up?
There's a spot that I noticed you could probably earn about a half second.
Oh, very cool. What are you thinking?
So, beginning that cylinder section, do you know what I'm talking about? The 3 gates right next to each other?
Yeah, the triple power loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the way you enter that, the way I've watched you enter that the last couple of times through, is you just go right over the first gate, stop, drop, and then begin the maneuver.
Yep.
What if you shot to the right of the gate, staying at like gate height, and then began your left turn and went all the way through?
I see what you're saying. Almost as if there was a fourth gate to like the right of the first or the left of the first, whichever way you're looking at it. Yeah, let me try that. Oh, hey, what's up, Dane Martin? What's up, T-Dog? What's up, Bryce? Good to see you guys in the chat.
Yep, like that.
Cool technical track.
I'm watching your stream back.
Yeah. So, I definitely agree with you, Dane. It is a super technical track. Well, it's not super technical. It is pretty technical, though, compared to what it could be. But it's not super intimidating either. You just need a couple tries through it, and then you'll kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can pull off this thing that you were talking about, Jonathan. It's not a bad line. I'll let you catch up on the stream and see what you think about it.
Yes, I like that much better.
Yeah, it's a little less risky.
Well, and the other thing is, I've learned that with elements like that, you're better off to not change elevation. Changing elevation usually
it's expensive.
It is expensive, and it's hard to do with these drones that are at such high tilt.
And you take into account battery sag, and all of a sudden, you're sort of at risk.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, actually, what I like the most is sort of a hybrid, I think, of the two. So, like,
Yeah.
instead of coming over it, shoot as if there is, like, a double gate.
Yes.
Basically, like, aim for that top right corner.
Yep. I think I just watched you do that on stream. That looks pretty solid to me.
And then if you hit some battery sag or something, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. Well, the other thing it does is it gives you the right setup for momentum to just lock in one input and just ride it out.
Yeah. So
going into it as if it was one giant loop.
See if I can get some muscle memory around that.
Yeah, working those is pretty key.
There we go. That feels pretty good. Yeah, Dane, the straightaways are actually kind of tricky. At least on the sim. I haven't flown this in real life, obviously, but this straightaway right here, it's super easy to blow out that gate if you're not preparing for it. And apexing it is just as hard. But you really need to be on the throttle for it, because it's just so much time that you'll lose otherwise. Ooh, almost goofed up that triple power loop. And go the other way just for fun. Woof. Oh, hey-oh, I got my first 19. So
Hey.
Practice is certainly paying off. I think my lowest was like a 20.2 or something like that. So yeah,
you're ripping it about as fast as Engineer was doing it in real life.
Yeah, and that's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
That dude's pretty great, and he did it his first pack. So if you gave him as many packs as I'm giving myself right now, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. That's Patrick for you, though.
Yeah, super cool dude.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
That's my favorite thing about these types of races, actually, is just meeting all the other pilots that, you see them online all the time, but
yeah. Yep, agreed.
To interact with them is super fun. Just a bunch of big nerds like yourself.
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, and I feel like we have a pretty high density of talent where we live. You go to a race like that, and all of a sudden, everybody is that good.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh, I ruined my prop. Nice. What's up, Stratos? Thanks, man. I've definitely been putting in some work for the championship, I should say. Yeah, Engineer did a 17-second lap.
17-second lap? Oh, dude.
Oh my goodness.
That man is a machine.
Yeah, so Greg, this sim flies slower than Velocidrone. So if you take the same track and you fly the same guy at it who's used to both sims, that person will get about 7% faster lap times on Velocidrone. Just a fun fact.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the whole idea of this sim, is to make it as realistic as possible.
Right. So I can reasonably expect that once I'm comfortable flying my quads and whatnot, I should be able to get these real times, or these same times in real life. And I've actually used all of my local races to tune that specifically. So pretty much every time we release the track ahead of time, I already know within a second what the fastest lap that I'm going to be able to do is, which is really nice. It's a super handy tool.
Yes, it is. Agreed.
Oh man, I target fixation.
Watching somebody in front of you.
Yep.
That's the other
Actually,
thing
more
that's
like
really
the side
nice.
of the gate.
Fair point. That's the other thing that I use a lot for training that's specific to this simulator is A, having something in front of me, but B, besting myself rather than other people.
Mm,
It's a great way to work the mentality of I need to be faster than myself.
yeah.
Than
Because that's a hard thing. You just see Evan and you're like, oh my gosh, that's impossible. I could never do that. But the fact of the matter is you can if you consistently get better than yourself every single day.
Yep. If you're better than you were yesterday, you'll get to the top eventually.
Because, like, that's the weird thing. Evan is getting better. That's
Yeah,
what people forget. And he's getting better than someone, and that someone is himself.
Yeah. Evan flies a lot of his practice alone. A lot of the evenings he spends after school, he's just flying on his own.
That's the dedication.
Yep.
It's lonely at the top, I guess. I don't know.
It is.
Evan, if you're here, let us know.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, in a sport as competitive as this, I mean, nobody is totally dominant with the exception of Bin Shan.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where, you know, very rarely do you get to be kicked the crap out of by somebody. Get a rude awakening.
Alright, so let's see. If this was a real round, that would be a pretty decent qualifying time. Some 20s and a 23.
Yeah.
So that's something else.
Consecutive.
Yeah. So that's if you're not aware, that's the qualifying technique. So it's your best 3 laps in a row. Oh yeah, T-Dog mentioned how fast some of the pilots pick up the track too, and that's a really good point. Like Evan.
Yeah.
I actually had this experience once. I was in the DRL sim, and I was playing with a bunch of the guys on the stream, and we had put like 10 batteries through the track.
Yeah.
And Evan comes on, and literally in 4 batteries, he did what I could not do in 10 batteries.
Yeah. No, like, I remember at the very start of the VRL season, there was a lobby open, like the night before the tryouts track was supposed to release. And Evan decided to hop in. And within his first 1 or 2 attempts, he was beating everybody on the server, including Colby, who literally built and test flew the track.
Yeah. He has like potentially hundreds of batteries on it, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's unreal.
So that brings me to something else that I think that Evan has figured out that a lot of other pilots haven't, and that I'm literally figured it out today. And he's often talking about how he's throttle limiting on his first runs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to now understand why I think that's really important. And he's been like preaching it for a while now. But I don't know. So my theory, though, was that at some point, when you're good enough, the only way that you'll be flying the track is full stick for the most part.
Yeah.
And if you want to fly the track full stick, well, a good place to start is learn to fly the track at a fixed throttle percent. And if you can fly at a fixed throttle percent, well, then now you can, that's the stepping stone to flying at full throttle, is knowing what it's like to not be able to change the throttle.
Yeah. Having to play with your tilt to change your altitude.
Right. And what's also really interesting and kind of nice is that for the most part, it's sort of track dependent, but on a lot of tracks, if you simply set yourself at like 50% throttle or 60% throttle and don't even move your stick and get good at flying the track like that, your lap times will go down, which is super interesting because you would think that would slow you down, but oftentimes it doesn't.
I've had experiences where I've caught myself trying to go too fast and put myself in a mentality of slow down. and ended up with better lap times, even though I was trying purposefully to go slow.
Right.
So there's definitely something to be said for realizing how to transfer momentum the best, but also giving your brain the time to see that happen.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like your brain, when you tell it to slow down, accidentally just starts thinking ahead anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you start operating at like a different speed, and you start to make your maneuvers slower, and it gives you more time to think about each one.
Right. So what is up, OGs? Good to have you here. You say you get the crap kicked out of you a lot, but you're a fast pilot.
I was gonna say, Mark, you made top 4 for the pro class at TOG this season. That's no
Ain't
easy
no slouching
feat.
here, that's for
Nope.
sure. Also, I want to see you post. I've seen a lot of people do this where they post like beginning of the year or beginning of when they started flying, and then how they're flying now. Dude, I want to see that for you because you have improved an incredible amount.
Dude, in just the 1 month that I got to go down to Mississippi and train, the difference was absolutely night and day.
Yeah.
Like, it was dumb.
Yeah, between OGs and airframe also. Airframe's gotten really good really quick.
Yes. Airframe got really fast.
He's actually, presumably kicking ass out at the sport class right now, so.
Yeah, he is. He is taking names up there.
That's so exciting to see. Like, I saw a lot of people kind of poo-pooing on the sport class because, like, oh, well, it's not pro class. I'm like, no, dude, it's a championship one way or the other.
Yeah. This is still some of the fastest guys in the world. Like, you can't discredit anybody that made it there.
No, not at all.
You know who's been really fun to watch get really, really good? Is Quad Doc, Kevin Turner.
Oh, yes.
Dude, I saw some of his DVR of one of his training sessions from like 3 days ago, and holy crap, what happened to him?
He's just been grinding away. Doing sim, doing backyard practice with Evan.
Yeah. It must be nice having, a national champion and
to train
arguably the fastest pilot on the planet.
Yeah. Well, he won Nats last year, so
yeah,
we'll see him do it again. So here's a fun question: who do you think, besides the normal, Evan or Vanover, besides them, who do you see being the guy who could sneak in the win, who hasn't won yet?
Ooh, that's a good question. Who have I seen recently? I don't know that anybody's going to take the top spot away from either Evan or Vanover.
Okay, so you think they've got it solid.
If Evan doesn't take it, Vanover will, is what I think.
Okay, I think
Evan,
if the wind is blowing right, I think Engineer could take it.
See, I don't know.
He's fast. He's pretty freaking consistent.
He is consistent. I don't know that he's on the same level with.
That's true. They are
Vanover
on an unworldly level.
Yeah. Here's my fantasy finishing order. Evan's either going to come first or 8th. There's no in between.
I agree.
If Evan doesn't come first, then Vanover's coming first. If Evan does come first, it's going to be Vanover second, and I think it's going to be... oh, crap.
Well, remember, BMS Thomas is here, too.
He is here. I think BMS is going to be a contender for 4th place. I think that 3rd place is going to be either Propsicle, Silas, or Fat Kid. What's his bucket? Soren Anderson. I think that one of those two is going to take 3rd place.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know that either of them could consistently take Vanover, but they could absolutely give him a run for his money.
Right. Yeah, because consistency is out the window at this point. I mean, other than getting to that final race,
Yeah,
but Evan shouldn't have to try super hard to make it to that race.
he shouldn't. No, I'm pretty confident he's going to get to the final race. I'm not confident in him taking first or eighth. I have watched a lot of his races recently, and it looks like his consistency is faltering, maybe just a hair.
Yeah.
So it's we have yet to see. If he can build a big enough lead on Vanover, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, last year that was a crazy race. So they were never more than a gate away from each other at any point.
No, they weren't.
And neither of them made a mistake the entire race.
Didn't. Well, Vanover had spent weeks and weeks and weeks grinding because he wanted the 2-time, he wanted the back-to-back really bad.
Yeah.
But we also watched Evan grind for months to get to where he was at.
Oh, what's up, Dane? So Dane's mentioning being able to fly with airframe all week in drones in the desert. It was awesome. Helped him learn the track. Yeah. Airframe's super cool, dude.
Yeah, he's way cool.
T-Dog saying Kevin flies the night track because he's quieter than Evan. That sounds about right.
You're not wrong.
Strizzy's been fun to watch. That's a good point. Strizzy has been killing it also.
Yeah,
Strizzy came out of nowhere. So going straight from I'm not flying FPV to I'm flying pro class. That's pretty freaking good.
I didn't know Striz at the beginning of the season, and now he's one of the ones to watch out for. So
yeah, for sure.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, he's got a lot of natural talent.
Do we know if he's going to be in Daytona?
Yeah, he's going to be out there, he said. So
is he? Good. I know the last time I talked to him, he was still kind of debating it. So that'll be sick. We're going to have a lot of the Colorado crew out there. You realize that, right?
That'll be super fun. Dude. And it'll be fun, too, because there's a bunch of guys. I got to meet a bunch of the Ohio guys last year because they ended up qualifying through whatever region they were in.
Yeah.
So I did the Midwestern region.
Well, I have I would say a pretty good group of friends in the South between Mississippi and Tennessee and Louisiana.
Oh, super fun.
So getting to see those guys again is going to be way cool.
Yeah. I got to meet a couple of the Louisiana guys during Mayhem.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted.
Like Adrian is super cool. I like him a lot.
Oh, yes.
Lundy, Alec, Droner, Lucas. Those guys are all way cool and way fun.
Yeah. Oof. All right, let's see if I can get some work done on this track. Oh my gosh, the mid-air sometimes are brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, OG's is saying Striz put in a lot of work. I believe he's talking about Striz. Noikel, I'm gonna win. What are you gonna win? You're gonna win the championship, the pro championship?
Let's go, Noikel. I want to see it.
That'd be pretty cool. You got a lot of guys to go through.
Yeah, no kidding. The talent is more dense than it has ever been at a championship race, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
IO was kind of dense. The Eddie RO race that was going on was also very dense. But I think this is the single highest density culmination of talent we're going to see for a long time.
Well, and imagine this too. Imagine that all of the guys in the sport class keep practicing and keep progressing at the speed they've been progressing.
Yeah.
And some of the pro guys just aren't going to be able to keep up, and they won't be here next year.
No, they won't. A lot of the pro guys just aren't going to put in the same amount of work that these sport class guys are.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what it comes down to.
Yep.
Ooh,
You don't get to slack off and stay pro.
I got the perfect triple power loop.
Alright, I'm waiting for it.
Oh man. And then I goofed up the lap.
Ooh, that's solid. Oh,
Right? Pretty silly.
that would have been a pretty easy low 19, high 18.
Yeah. I'm flying around with a bent prop. That's getting kind of silly. Michael says maybe next year for sure, man.
Dude.
I've definitely seen you around on VRL, so
Well, yeah. NorCal's a killer on VRL.
So again, for all you peeps who are watching, thanks for joining us. We're just checking out the MultiGP Championship Sport Class track. And we're crashing while we do it, so let's get that a restart. And yeah, we're trying to kind of talking about champs and lines on this course. I think we've kind of talked about most of the lines that are really working out well. There is one part I wanted to talk about actually. So, and I think some of this has been coming from flying DRL so much, the DRL sim, because they have a lot of wide open sections.
Mm-hmm.
What props am I going to fly on this track? OG says. So I'm
Are
not
you
going to
flying this track in real life?
I won't get to fly this track in real life, but if I were, I would be hugely torn because this straightaway is going to be a very large percentage of your overall time.
Yeah.
And so a high speed prop is going to be really nice there. However, there's enough tight technical sections that I would almost prefer to be able to hit those faster and just sacrifice the one straightaway.
The tight technical sections are going to make or break your run more than the dead straights are.
I would agree with that. And if you can make those easier on yourself with some good props, something that grips really hard and produces a lot of thrust down low, then so I personally would go with and people are going to call me crazy, but I would go with the Cyclone quad blade for this track.
Yeah.
Just, it would be nuts. Especially, so one turn in particular, coming out of the straightaway and going back into the ladders, right here, you have a lot of speed and there's a lot of grip to be lost. And if you can just hook that would
if you've got the power to hang on, then yeah.
Right.
But you gotta have some serious bite.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, Michael, why do my sub 29 second runs in the GQ on Velocidrone equate to 39 seconds IRL? First of all, the Velocidrone, even if you are as good of a pilot in real life as you are in Velocidrone will always give you shorter lap times. It flies faster than most people's IRL quads.
Yeah.
So that's just how Velocidrone is. Now, it's usually only about 7% faster, which isn't a huge deal. And it's a good way to give you a ballpark. But flying between simulator and flying between real life, the big thing that a simulator often doesn't do is it doesn't give you the types of variations that real life do. So in real life, there's pockets of air that are of different densities, essentially, and that's pretty important when you're trying to fly through that air. The wind shifts. There's all sorts of things that are just a little bit different. Even coming down to the type of delay, the way the latency works between your radio and your quad. Another thing too is if you're used to gaming at high frequency refresh rates, that's really bad for you. You don't get that many frames in real life.
No.
You get 60 frames per second. If you want to be good in real life, you've got to practice the way real life is, which is why we built this particular sim, the way we did. You don't get to play the sim at 120 hertz. It won't let you. It stays at 60 hertz because that's what current analog video allows. So everything about this right now is designed to specifically be for real life practice, and we're sort of taking our time developing the more fun features because of that.
The idea is to have the ultimate practice tool.
Yep. And so even the things that are like kind of annoying about this are done on purpose. So when you collide with things really hard, you can't fly, because when that happens in real life, you can't fly. You don't get to just reset.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a reset button so that you can race again, but you don't get to reset in the middle of the race. That's not a good habit to get into if you're practicing for real life. So
things like video noise are required, you know.
Yeah, and the only way you can actually get rid of video noise, but it's only for the sake of it's a setting that's for graphics. So if your computer can't handle processing the video noise shader, you can turn it off to get a higher, more solid frame rate. It'll only go up to 60, but
yeah.
That's the other thing too, is ideally this sim should run better on slower computers than some of the other sims. So we actually have a very, very almost working prototype of this running on a Raspberry Pi, just to prove that, we can do that.
Which is a really cool project. I'm super excited for that.
Yep, all we gotta do is figure out the joystick stuff, and it should be good to go with a little bit of conversion. Oh yeah, Noiko plays at 280 hertz. That'll make it hard. You will notice that. Sorry for the total noob question, Dane says, but I've never flown a sim. How would I start, or what to download? So I'm going to show you how to download the sim.
Probably smart. First thing to note is you have to have a controller, obviously.
Yeah, so I believe Dane has flown in real life. I seem to remember him from Drones of the Desert. So
yeah, because he came to drones.
That's right. So if you have a radio, this is the radio. Let me pull up my stream so I can see what I'm showing you guys. Let's see. Let me hop into studio mode.
What's good, Christian?
What's up, Christian? Good to see ya. Transition. All right, so first thing you're going to want is a radio. This is the radio I use. It's called an X-Lite. There's a lot of other really awesome radios out there. There's Spectrum, there's Futaba, this is FR Sky. You could even get a Fly Sky radio. Alternatively, you can get a Xbox One controller. Those will work also. I need to make some tweaks to this sim so that it'll work with an Xbox One controller, but like the DRL sim works with it. I believe you can get Velocidrone to work with it also.
I assume so.
Yeah, but we definitely recommend getting a actual radio. This is one that works really well. It just plugs in with a micro USB, which is what everybody has for cell phones and stuff anyway.
Yep.
Once you got your radio, go ahead and jump onto the Flow State Drone Racing Simulator Facebook page. I'll close my chat so you guys don't check out all of our memes. So, likely speaking, there will be an announcement pegged to the top, and that's going to be a link to whatever the latest version of Flow State is. So you can go ahead and click the link, and that will bring you to the download page, and you'll see all the features that got added and whatnot. And then down at the bottom, you'll have the download link for the sim. So we can go ahead and just download it. And actually, I think I have this actually already downloaded and zipped up. So we can go there. So what you'll get is something. I guess I'll just go to this one. So once you got it downloaded, you can go ahead and show it in a folder, and you can just double click it and do extract all. And then we'll save this somewhere. We'll save this to my desktop. So we got it in our desktop. We'll select this folder and we'll hit extract. And we'll wait for that to extract because for some reason Windows has decided that extracting takes forever. I don't know, something with my PC setup right now.
Like a lot of your RAM is dedicated to the stream at the moment.
That could be. So anyway, once you get that extracted, you'll see your flow state folder pop up in your desktop. And when you open it, this is what you'll see. You'll see all the game files and whatnot. And in the future, we'll probably be actually putting this on Steam. Oh, dang it. I haven't been showing this to anyone. They can't see it.
Not the screen, just your face.
Oh my gosh, what a noob. All right, so let's try that again. So hop over to the Flow State Facebook page, hit the link. That'll bring you to the download page. You'll see all the things and the stuff. Scroll on down to the bottom. Check out the version that's right for your computer. So if you got a Mac, get the Mac version. If you got a Windows, get the Windows version. Linux, if you want Linux, hit me up. We can make it work for Linux. I just haven't yet.
Okay. Something on that note, Noikel asks, can he play Flow State on my Chromebook?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So
probably
Chromebooks. Not. I was going to say Chromebooks run Chrome OS. I don't think that they can take any of the three.
I don't know. In fact, I thought Chromebooks didn't even have a hard drive. Although
I think they just have solid states.
Okay.
They do have some drive on them.
I'll have to look into that, Nogel. I've not used a Chromebook before, or Chrome OS.
My guess is no. I don't think it'll be compatible with Chrome OS.
Yeah, probably not.
As it is, I don't think that any Chromebook in existence could really run the simulator.
I don't think so. That would be pretty cool, though. And in theory, I could package a Chrome app, and it would work in there.
I just mean that I don't know of a Chromebook with more than like 4 gigs of RAM or any type of dedicated graphics. So.
Well, we could maybe do some things and make it work. If we can get it to work on a Raspberry Pi, we should be able to make it work.
Fair enough. Yeah, but that's Linux.
So yeah, we could get it if we could get it working in the web browser, then it would work pretty much everywhere.
That's a fair point.
And there is a version of this game engine that works in the web browser. So
that's true. I forget that it runs on Blender.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll look into it. If that's something you seriously want, let me know. Anyway,
they have a 16 gigabyte drive.
Yeah, that I mean that'll hold it. The game itself is only like 200 megabytes.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and you'll hit extract. You'll extract it to, in our case, we extracted it to our desktop, and you would do select folder, and you would hit extract. We already did that though, so we're gonna hop into our desktop. And you can see we've got our game contents here. So once you're in here, game.exe is what you'll click to run it. And it'll warn you about me being a hacker. Just ignore that warning.
Yep, he's definitely not hacking your PC.
Definitely not hacking your PC. So anyway, yeah, perks of open source is I don't have to worry about people claiming that. So anyway, that's all there is to it. Once you get in here, the first thing you'll want to do is hop over to settings and then controller and make sure that you can see sticks moving when you move sticks on your radio. And you may have to do some channel remapping. So for example, if I move this stick, This should be my throttle, and that one's correct. If I move my yaw stick, it's actually moving roll. So what I'll do is my yaw channel is incorrect. So I'll try some things until I see, there we go. So now my yaw is moving, and also roll is moving. So let's now change roll until we see the roll move. There we go. And our pitch happened to be correct. So we've got some reset switches and whatnot. So, and that should be basically all there is to it. And then if you want your rates you can plug in your Betaflight rates into here. Assuming you use Betaflight. I haven't done Flight 1 or KISS or anything like that yet. So I know there's converters online if you want to check that out. And then drone options. So static thrust, you'll want to input the static thrust that your drone is capable of producing. How much static thrust does my drone produce, you may ask? Well, the base numbers are pretty close to like a 5S or 4S quad. And if you can kind of go by feel if you're already used to flying. Two new options are drag and lift / downforce. So drag is going to be the force that, let me switch here. So drag is going to be the force that's just resisting movement of any kind. And lift and downforce is going to be, if I'm acting like a scoop and I'm going this way at 45 degrees, it's going to be kind of a downward force. I'm going to get pushed down, sort of like a spoiler. And the same thing if I'm going backwards, it'll scoop me up a little bit. So this is the amount that those forces will affect you. So camera tilt is pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, that should be basically, and then drone weight. You can weigh, this is with a battery. So weigh your drone with a battery. If you're not sure what your drone weighs, or if you don't have a drone yet, just keep it default. It should be fine. Let's see, and then graphics and stuff like that. So, and then it's pretty much as simple as picking a track and yeah, flying it on from there. I've got my settings all set up already, so I'm gonna go back to the sim that I had.
Out of curiosity, you say your static thrust is 3,600 grams?
Let's see. So this is real world static thrust. This is what you actually get, not what's on the bench. And the problem that I found was that like mini quad test bench and other sources of information are testing using a power supply, not a LiPo. And there's a huge difference in the amount of thrust you get.
Yeah.
So let's see, actually 35 is about what my drones get.
Okay.
So there's actually a fun bit about this on the release page, because this was a sort of new thing that I had to tweak. So, measuring your quad. So in the last release, I discovered a way to actually calculate how much thrust your quad is producing instantaneously, using a real quad that is actually flying in the air, not what the motors are theoretically capable of. And there's a pretty big discrepancy between that and bench tests. So this is why I think Velocitron's fast. I think this is probably the reason their sim flies too fast. But if you want to calculate this yourself, all you have to do is add the G-force counter onto your OSD. And then, just follow these steps here. And there's an equation that you're going to plug in at the end. So you're going to take the max G-force that you saw and subtract it by 1 because gravity is a thing. Multiply it by the weight of your quad, and then multiply it by this 0.0093 constant. And that will give you the amount of force that your quad is actually producing on punch outs. So that's a fun thing. Easy way to, regardless of your props, regardless of your motors, whatever, you can make sure that the sim is actually producing the same exact amount of thrust as your quad. Because that
makes sense.
Can't guess every single prop and every single motor. I'm one guy doing a open source sim, so.
Yep.
But
Well, I know from looking at the test bench numbers for the motors that I run specifically, they had given a grams thrust and voltage, and they gave the pitch and size of the prop and everything when they did their testing, but that's also on a test bench. So
exactly, and that's what it always comes down to, is on a test bench with no PID loop running, with no requirement to hold the drone level.
Yeah.
So like, interestingly, if you wanted to go as fast as you possibly could, you would have to crank your P all the way up.
Yeah.
And your tune would be unflyable, but you'd go faster.
Yeah.
You'd produce more thrust.
Because it would stop compensating and just spin as fast as possible.
Right. And actually, even then, you'd be kind of hosed because it would oscillate, and that oscillation would kill you.
Yeah. You'd want to turn off any limiters and keep it barely stable.
Yeah, actually, you may want to turn all of your other PIDs very, very low, I think.
Yeah. D's probably very, very low.
Right. And at that point, it would just not fly properly, but it would give you a better straight line speed.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, if you were doing a quad just for a pure dead sprint, how differently you would tune it and how far you would go.
Yeah, I think if you were trying to do that, you would want to really play with it. Which may be something that DCL guys may care about.
We'll see. I don't... Those quads are awfully big to be full throttle all the time.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Ah, dang. Oh, it does look cool chasing two other quads, though.
Yes, it does.
Oof. I'm super excited for them to release the Pro track.
Oh, I am too. If we thought this was technical, I think that the next one is going to be way more so.
Yeah, I think the Pro track, the best strategy is going to be the quad props.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because they've only got about a football field to work with.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Should be fun.
My guess it's going to be like years previous, where they throw in an element nobody's ever seen before that's super technical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that horizontal hairpin from last year. Ooh.
Oh, that's right. That was super interesting.
That was way weird. That was something nobody could have prepared for.
No. It was, oh man, so this is one of the moments at which I realized this was a really valuable sim that I just needed to get out to other people. Because for a while it was just like a private project that I just did for my own enjoyment.
Yeah.
But when I was out at Nats, I had built a GPS tracker that would like log your positions, and you could mark, you know, oh, where I'm standing is a gate and where I'm standing now is a flag.
Yeah.
And I was able to have the track, and I was running it on my laptop before anybody ever got a pack up on the track. Yeah. And that was before they were releasing it on simulators and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was super awesome.
Dude.
Oh yeah, OG says as soon as I see the Pro track, tag me and I can build it. So he's been helping me get all these tracks into the sim. Thank you a bunch, by the way. This track has been a OG's production. I just kind of tweaked it and made it work for Flow State.
Yeah, because he built it in Velocidrone, and you just took the point mapping and put it all into Velocidrone, or into Flow State, right?
Yep. Yeah, so he had all the measurements and everything for me. I didn't have to do much at all.
Solid.
Ooh, I'm feeling good.
wonder-
This is the lap.
I wonder how difficult it is to take from DRL and put in Velocitron.
It's not possible.
Well, I know, like straight ripping it, but I wonder what it took to convert it.
Oh yeah. Well, they built it on a soccer field, and that made it a little easier.
Oh yeah. Makes me wonder how much that soccer field texture is to scale.
Yeah. The nice thing that you can do is you can use the texture and then go in the map editor and find the same spot on the texture, and that will you can place objects and measure where they are.
Oh, the track editor will give you measurements.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. So at that point, then you can figure things out. Won't be
Yeah.
perfect, but it'll be close.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the whole, track cards to the chest game.
yeah,
But the guy building
Keeping
the
a
open
track.
source simulator wouldn't be.
yeah. Keeping a track secret until the day you're supposed to be racing it,
Yeah.
or a couple days prior on a simulator.
Well, yeah, that I can understand. I just hate it when they release it on like the official simulator and try to make it difficult for other people to obtain that track.
Yeah. Well, it's just a
I get
matter
it, though.
of DRL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to get people to try out their sim. So that's
Yeah.
fair.
Well, they're getting more people to fly their sim.
Yeah, their sim's super cool and it is super fun. If you haven't tried it already, Kid Drone, this sim is called Flow State. It's free. It's open source. So if you want to try it out, feel free. Actually, I'll go ahead and drop a link to the Facebook page in
That's not a bad
the
idea.
chat so that you guys can maybe give it a shot if you got some free time and want to try it out. Let's see. There we go. Again, it's free. Right now, it's mostly just me developing it. And actually, Josh has helped me out. Jay Rice, he's actually out at the sports class championship right now. So
Yeah,
he's
which
racing
is
this
what we're
course
talking about today.
as we speak, probably.
Probably. I don't know if they're in the stadium, they probably got lights.
Oh, that's true. You should check the live time and see if he's got a time up yet.
He does. He, Ben, and Byron all have times up.
Oh, nice. How are they
Byron's
looking?
in fourth place with a 116.
Hell yeah. That's my
Ben is
boy.
in eighth place with a 121,
Oh, man.
which is funny. Josh was saying that he hadn't had a very good run in yet. Airframe hasn't had a terribly good run in yet either, but they've only flown a couple of packs tonight.
Okay.
They'll get in bet more tomorrow. They were saying that they got 10 packs total of qualifying and could split them up between tonight and tomorrow, however they wanted.
Ooh, that should be really nice. So that'll
So,
give
Josh-
a really good sense of even how skilled people are, because it won't be based on bad luck and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, what Josh did in particular is he only flew 2 of his qualifying packs tonight, and he's going to do the other 8 tomorrow.
That's smart.
So I'm not sure what Ben and Byron did, but they're in solid positions anyway. So
Oh, busted prop.
you know what's funny? Junebug is in 7th place.
Dude, she's killing it.
Like, yeah, it's insane.
She's on that list of people whose before and after I want to see.
Yes, agreed. Again, getting to practice with a 2-time national champion must be pretty nice.
Yeah. The only MultiGP two-timer so far.
True. Yeah, so far.
This could be our first chance to get a second two-timer.
Well, I don't know. This isn't a national championship anymore. It's going to be our first global champion.
I guess that's true.
So we could absolutely have somebody from Germany just come in and take it.
Yeah, dude, the freaking Russians just
Oh my
stomped
gosh.
me. I was
Yeah.
I think I was 12th on the global qualifier track,
Yeah.
and then there was 4 or 5 Russians that just came out of nowhere and just smashed my time.
Yeah.
Like, darn
dude,
it.
There's a couple of them that are insane. So.
OG says, I find that if I fly a bit, then take a break the next day, I fly better.
Agreed. You should absolutely take breaks between flying and before big events. I preach no practicing 1 week prior to an event.
Oh, interesting.
Preach it. I noticed prior to this season, so at the tail end of last season, as far as TOG is concerned, so probably like September, October, I would be flying my quads the day before I would go down for one of those races. And what would happen is I would get to a race and I would put a quad on the line and realize that it's broken. Or I would put a quad in the air and realize that the tune was off, or that I had loose skurs or something stupid like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I started doing was I gave myself a week's advance. I didn't allow myself to like full on practice with any of my quads within a week of a big event.
Oh,
and what it does is it makes you way more confident in any quad you put on the line, because you've had the last week to look at them and test them. And you know you haven't broken anything because you haven't really flown them.
Interesting.
So it gives you ultimate validity in the status of your gear, as well as any bad habits that may be forming.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of get rid of.
Yeah. I definitely, when I go to big events, I don't let myself fly the gear hard right before. Because, oh my gosh, there's nothing worse than having stuff that just isn't flying right and you just don't know until it's too late.
Yep. Even with these 2 builds that I just finished tonight, I'm within my 1 week window, so I'm not going to practice with them. They're going to get a test hover and maybe a tad bit of tuning, and then they're going away.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I definitely, with the builds I have right now, I found that there was a something wrong with them where I have to had flown and like made sure that they worked. Otherwise, I would not known that the build is borked.
Yeah.
So I definitely like am gonna rip them, but I'm not gonna like do any gates or anything.
Yeah.
Just find an open field and throttle around.
Yeah, go way up high. So that was one of my techniques going into IO, and it seemed to have worked really well.
Yeah, you were crushing. You were actually hanging in there with Vanover in some of those races.
Yeah, that was
fun to see.
That was really exciting.
Oh my goodness, the mid-airs.
So it was a little bit awkward because we were there for kind of like a training camp, and we were staying with them at whatever. We just stopped flying for like a week, and everybody was like, you good? Is all your stuff working? Are you okay?
Did you quit the hobby?
Right.
Made any wing purchases recently?
Like, yeah, no, I'm good to go. I'm just not gonna touch these for a little bit.
That's what everybody does right before they quit. They buy a wing.
Buy a wing.
That's why I won't.
Dude, that's one of the other things I still need to get is a wing.
Don't do it. You'll quit. There goes your racing career.
Oh no. Did Chance buy a wing?
You cannot buy a wing. You buy a wing, you'll start quitting. You'll be spending too much time with glue all over your hands.
Fair point. What if I started racing wings?
Well, then you'll just be racing wings. I guess you haven't quit the hobby, if the hobby is FPV or flight in general. So
flight in general. I guess it just depends on your opinion.
Oh my goodness. So something I'm having a little bit of issues with. I noticed
Oh.
a while ago that, especially on this straightaway, let me go over to the straightaway. You can be really high throttle if you start banking early, and
Yeah.
then you can apex it a little nicer. You can sort of use the bank as almost like an air brake,
Yeah.
and let it just kind of scoop you around. Or you can yaw, and
Yeah.
yawing is super, like, just visual yaw is tough because you slide to the right and left a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just so difficult to maintain. I find that I start banking really hard, and quickly I run out of like room for throttle, and now I'm bumping the ground. And that's the downside to that.
Yeah. The best way to turn and carry momentum is kind of dependent on your setup.
Yeah.
You've got a little bit heavier setup, so swinging as wide as possible is probably your best bet. I say heavier, I mean in relation to the setups I've fought.
Yeah. Your stupid light 250 gram builds.
4S packs. All up weight comes in under 400 grams.
Yeah, at some point I'll check out the whole 20x20 game, but I'm too excited about Bifrost.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, don't jump into 2020 just yet. Because ESCs are still very skittish.
Oh, that sucks. That's not something I really like.
No.
Having to fiddle with.
Well, that's why I stayed with 3030 for as long as I could. All my 3030s, first plug-in, first tune, they're good to go until you literally kill the ESC.
Right.
These ones have been very finicky. Soft crashes tend to break things, and stupid tiny little shorts end up, ruining one motor output or causing them to not turn on anymore.
Yep.
It's tiny, stupid little stuff that shouldn't matter. Because it doesn't on a 3030. So.
Yeah, like you could buy a Hobbywing 60 amp and just never have to worry about it.
Yep. Dude, I have Hobbywing 45 amps that are almost a year old now.
Really? I think I still have a few that work.
And I've killed two Talons in 2 weeks.
Jeez.
And I killed an afterburner, which is a 3030 size 2020 within like a month.
That's so funny. It's okay, but here's my question: like, if Hobbywing came out with their 60 amp ESD and it was the same size and everything, but they just moved the mounting holes to 2020, would you run it on a 2020?
Yes.
Yeah.
If the PCB was the same size, just the mounting holes were in different places, then yes.
Okay. Yeah. We're both going to be going to Nationals, Kid Drone. How about yourself? OG says, I've fried a megawatt and 2 Acon 20x20 ESDs. That is a bummer.
Yeah, the 2020 ESC game just isn't quite there yet, I don't think. I have yet to stress test these Hobbywings. This is their first 5-inch grade 2020 ESC, so we'll see.
This should be exciting.
If it's rated at 40 amps, it should do alright.
So I'm certain that the 20x20s will become reliable at some point.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm certain of that is because people used to not trust 4-in-1 ESDs whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
And now
I still know people
everyone
that don't.
runs 4-in-1s.
Yeah. The technology is getting there, and luckily it's getting there fast. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm kind of disappointed about is none of the 2020 ESCs on the market have BECs. None of them. Which means that I have to run the 5 volt for my Unify and for my receiver off of the flight controller's 5-volt PEC, which is not
Oh,
very big.
because you're not running the high volt Unify.
No. Well, even so, I would need it for the receiver, because the receiver takes up to 8 volts.
True. You could, if you wanted to get janky with it, have the VTX run bat, and then I think it has a 5-volt out. Some of their VTXs.
Some of them do, yeah.
And you could power your receiver off of that, but like you might as well just power your receiver off the flight controller at that point.
Well, and at that point, it's more of like a 7 or 8 gram VTX versus a 1 gram VTX.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference.
Yeah, that is a pretty big difference. And I love this race line feature.
Yeah.
It's just so nice because like as I'm flying, I can see, oh, I took my turn like really, really tight that lap. And how like can I even better that? Or like this one, I'm able to see that I am chickening out on throttle through this turn, and that's something like Vanover and Evan would not be doing. This would be a solid red line with no white in it whatsoever. And you can see all of the red as I go through the gate.
It would be inches from the gate, not feet.
Yeah, that too.
That's one thing. Yeah.
That's the line I'm happy with. It's a decently apexed line.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely one thing I wish I could do for myself is watch third person of my own flying.
Yeah.
And it's just not possible.
OG says, how do I download the track that you're flying? So let me go ahead and pull that up. So if you want to try this track, you can. I've been plugging this all night. Go onto the Facebook page. I just plug it because it's the easiest way to get information. But hop onto the Facebook page, and it's about the third post down. And it'll just be a Google Drive link. You can download the file, and then once you have the file, open up the game folder for flow state, where the game.exe is, and drop it on into the maps folder, and that will just add it to the maps that the game has. And if you already have the game open, you won't even have to refresh. You'll just have to go back to that menu, and it'll be there.
Cool, so you don't have to close and reopen the game.
Yeah, Kidron says, I haven't been flying much lately. Didn't really do well on the GQ. That's fair, man. The GQ was a super tough track. It was super tough. Very, very technical. It would punish you for using too much throttle in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is we had so much time on it that everybody else was going ham on it.
Yes, that is true.
If you wanted to get up on the list, you were having to go ham yourself.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Most of my issues come on that triple power loop.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting the top of it. All right, I'm going to set some goals for myself. I'm actually going to run through. I'm going to start doing some practice for the pro class. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set myself up a sticky note. And in the pro class, we're supposedly only going to get 4 qualifying rounds. And it's going to be best 3 consecutive laps in 4 races. What's up, Kite? Thanks for the good wishes. Hopefully luck will be on my side.
Where did you hear about the 4-round thing?
That is in the official rule book for
Is it?
MultiGP. Yeah, they may change it. I expect things to change, but this is
what
the rules say.
Well, I understand that it's a sport class, but they gave them 10 qualifying packs.
Yeah, but it's also supposed to rain the entire time we're there.
Well, it's Florida. It's going to rain part of the day anyway.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume for the worst and just
fair point.
Practice for the worst, and if I get more rounds than that, that's fine.
If all else fails, we're flying in the rain. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I tried to order conformal coating, and none of the conformal coating that's on Amazon will ship to me for some reason. So if you have conformal, I'll buy it off you. Or share it with you or whatever.
I don't trust conformal coating.
Really?
Honestly, yep.
That's fair.
I would rather just tape around the main body of my quad and call it good.
Thanks so much, Kite. Yep, we're hopefully going to represent the boys out there, so it should be fun. So let's kick this off. I'm going to run my first round of qualifying. Fake qualifying, just practicing. And see what we can do. I'm going to start off a little easier on this first run. Because at this point, I really just want to lay down a time. Because if you only end up with 4 qualifying rounds, it's easy to have technical issues, video, whatever, and all of a sudden you find yourself with no time whatsoever. So that's what we're going to start out with.
You should always finish your first round.
Yep. Period. So fly well within your own comfort zone. Oof, gotta concentrate. Oh my gosh. I gotta listen to my own advice.
Did you obliterate your quad?
Oh yeah. Right on the last lap. I got a little fancy and was like, oh, just gonna lay this one down. And just clip that gate. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and mark that down. So we got our we got a 2 lap.
2 laps, 21:02 and 21 flat.
Oh, thank you. 21:02. That's 21.0. Alright. Well, let's see if we can better a 2-lap run by getting a 3-lap run. So because we did that, we don't get to get all excited and go fast yet. We get to fly safely and ensure that we finish a solid qualifying run. Oh no, we hit our ghost. And now we have a bent prop. But we're gonna fly through it because that could still give us, yeah, it's still qualifying. Somebody out there could have worse luck than us. And actually, this happened to last nationals, midair, right off the bat, and I had just the worst luck leading up to that in qualifying.
Yeah.
And as a result, if I hadn't been prepared to fly with a totally bent prop, I would not have made it as far as I did. My event actually would have ended with that race otherwise. So this is a really good thing to practice, actually.
Yes, agreed. Be ready for anything.
There we go. All right, so not a great time, but it should do the trick. And that first lap actually helped us out a lot. So 21.14 plus 22.84 plus 24.86. Those are actually pretty consistent laps. So we will make that our... So just in case you guys are wondering, this is actually how I practice when I use simulators. I try really hard not to get into the simulator groove where you're just like flip the reset switch all the time, and it's just not worth it. It builds bad habits, and it's hard to not do that.
Hey Tim, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off.
Cool. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
I'll
Thanks
catch
for
you
having
later.
me.
Yeah, I'll see you
later.
out in Florida.
Yeah. Are you flying out? Are you driving?
Yep. I'll be flying out. I'll be there on Wednesday.
Okay. What time Wednesday does your flight leave?
I think like 9 a.m.
Solid.
So.
I think you and Chris and I are on the same flight. So.
Oh, that would be awesome. Cool. Well, maybe I'll see you then.
All right. I'll see you later.
Adios. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and see what the best we can do. I think my goal for this is I'd like to get down to 63 or 64, somewhere between 63 and 64 seconds for my qualifying time. So let's see if we can do that. So now we got a solid run. At this point, like, we know that we're probably going to qualify, for brackets, hopefully. And it's just going to be a matter of improving our time. So let's go ahead and do that. This is round number 3 of 4. There we go. We're going to try to take a riskier line here. Oof, didn't work out for us. Keep it nice and tight here. We're going to try to enter this and maintain a good loop. Oh man, that's going to mess up our time. And my props are not doing super great. They're still working, but we'll see if we can at least just improve our previous time at this point. We're not going to set any course records, but we should be able to do better than we did with a totally bent prop. If we can get our focus together. Oh, darn. That round, it just wasn't happening. So let's see. We got a 21 and a... So we may actually have improved our time a little bit, but it's not really going to be significant. So let's just add those together. Throw them on our sheet. And get the total. So let's say 66. So we did improve our time by 2 seconds. That would be a couple positions in a real race. But still at this point, I think like the caliber of pilot that's going to be at the pros, that's probably not even going to be top 50, I don't think. It's pretty stacked. So let's go ahead, and we got one more round for this little qualifying run. Let's see if we can better that time. So it's gonna come down to a lot of like, can I keep focused? Can I keep my line? Can I not fall apart? So let me get nice and cozy and see what we can do. There we go, that's a little better. Starting to slip my thumb off the stick. There we go. That's a good loop. Got a little off access, but managed to save it. Ugh, and then right into the wall. Well, I think we did our goal though, so that's good. We got our 3 in. I was hoping to be able to drop that 22, but that would have taken 2 more laps to do. But that's okay. This is sort of the strategy for top 3 consecutive. So let's see what that is. Not bad, a 62.9. So it's right in the range that we wanted. I'm going to do one more round, and then we'll probably cut off the stream. And we're going to see if we can best this time now. So that's going to be our goal. During that time, we need to first set down a decent qualifying run. That's just kind of like the rule that I set for myself. And then we get to push for the faster time. So here we go. Get all cozy. Do my little wiggle ritual. It's not as cool as Nurk's head strap slap. Ooh, getting a little close to the ground there. There we go, don't lose it now. Got it. It's all up from here, so now we're in full send mode. Oh, I tried the fancy line and it didn't work. Oof, alright though. I am pretty happy with that. So it's a 20-20-20. I think it's going to be 61 seconds or so. Let's see, plus 20.06. Yeah, not bad. Pretty happy with that one. Let's go ahead and just copy this guy. There we go. All right, so that was supposed to be my easy run, but I guess that just goes to show when you kind of slow it down, you get a little bit faster. I don't know why, but it's not just me that has that happen. A lot of pilots experience that. So here we go for round 2. It's going to be pretty tough to improve that time. That was a really solid run for me. Oh, that crash is going to kill that run for us. Yeah, we got the 20, but didn't get much else out of that. So we'll just leave that one as a DNF. Whoopsie. Hang on. I'm going to mark that before I forget. All right, let's try that again. There we go. Oh, just too shy. Hot dang though, that is my fastest lap. So actually, I'm gonna call that a pretty good place to call it, I think. We achieved our goal of bettering our first qualifying run. So let's see what that ended up to. So a 60.49, even better than our first run, only by a couple tenths of a second. Screw it. We'll finish up this last one and then we'll call the stream. So we're gonna see if we can better a, what was it, 60.4? Yeah, 60.49 is what we're trying to better. So I gotta get myself set up. All right, here we go for realsies. Oh man, I had to reposition my finger on the stick. All right, this lap is a throwaway. Let's see if we can, starting from now. In real life, my battery could not handle something like this. Oh, dang it. Oh, I think that's going to wrap it up for the stream, guys. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out. And remember, MultiGP Nationals is going down right now, so keep your eyes peeled to the MultiGP community page for live streams. I'll be posting whichever ones I find. I'm sure somebody else will post it once it's up. And I'm going to be cheering on all the sports class guys. They put in a ton of work getting there, so it's really excited to get to see like the culmination of that. I think it's going to be a really great race. And yeah, then next week, go ahead and check out the MultiGP page again for the pro class. I'm lucky enough to have made it into that race, and it's going to be super fun. So hopefully I will see you guys. If I don't see you guys there in person, maybe I'll be able to catch you online. So thanks for watching. I'm SkyFTV. See you next time.